welcome to today's video, where today I'm going to be showcasing all of the comics that I read in August. Now, I know it's the middle of September, but I've been busy, and normally I post videos on gaming. However, I thought I might as well showcase some of my other interests I've got. Now, I have a huge stack of unread comics, so some of these are older than others. So I've had them for a few months, if I'm being completely honest. I just haven't had enough time to read them. So we're going to start with some of the comics I've had the longest. It is the Free Comic Book Day Star Wars issue, the Free Comic Book Day Hellboy issue, which also featured Stranger Things, which I haven't seen, so I was a bit confused. And I haven't read any Hellboy either. But I feel like that was a good issue, even though I had no idea what was happening in it. And my last Free Comic Book Day issue was the Pokemon Adventures Ruby and Sapphire issue. I've never read any Pokemon comics before, but I like the games, so it was a pretty nice comic. I might have to pick up the rest of it. Moving on to the other single issues I had lying around, I had The Expanse Dragon Tooth issue 1, which I knew nothing about. I think I got it in like a mystery bag, which I had no idea what it was, but it wasn't too bad. It was quite interesting. I might have to look at getting the others, and it's because it says it's 1 of 12, so I might have to look at getting that at some point. And because I'm a massive Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, Spider-People, just anything with spider powers, I read Spider-Gwen the Ghost Spider issue 2. I also went on holiday, and I went to this comic book shop that had a large selection of boxes and boxes of single-issued comics. I could have spent my entire life savings in there, but I just picked a few random ones with either some cool covers or just ones that looked interesting. So I picked up Fantastic Four issue 600 because I like the Fantastic Four, and it seemed like, is it a milestone issue? It seemed like a big numbered issue, and I was like, okay. It was a 100-page 50th anniversary. So I picked that one up, and then I picked up the 650th special of Fantastic Four issue 5, which also looked interesting. They were both great reads. That was the issue where Ben got married. So that had his whole bachelor party and all that in it, which I quite enjoyed. Then I bought a couple X-Men related ones. I got X-Force Killshot issue 1, which I knew nothing about. I haven't really read anything with Cable in it, so I thought I'd give it a go, and I enjoyed it. It was a good read for me. And then I got Classic X-Men issue 8, which had 2 teams of X-Men going against each other. I think it was in the middle of a story, but it had a cool cover, so I picked it up. Finish off the comics I got in this comic shop, I got X-Men issue 137. It was a facsimile, of course, because I think one of the original first prints would probably be more than the €5 I paid for it. But it was a great read, great condition, and it has a great cover. I love the cover on it. Then I picked up the Marvel Select of, I don't really know how to say it, X-Men 92 House of XCII? XC2? I don't really know, because it says the 90s X-Men return, reborn into the Krakoan age 30 years early. I haven't read the Krakoan age, or many of the 90s X-Men, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story, just a good standalone book. I picked that up from W.H. Smith's. It was only a tenner, so I thought I'd give it a go, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good read. Now I've just got 2 issues of my new addiction of buying the Panini, I don't really know what they're called, the Panini magazines. I've got a Deadpool and Wolverine Join Forces one, which was issue 19, and they release them every couple weeks, but that was a good one. Guest starred Black Panther in it, which is always good. And then I also read the Spider-Man one, which came out, That was issue 42, and it was a continuation of the Sinister War. And I think these magazines pretty much reprint old issues, so it's quite an accessible way to get slightly older stories, but also have that like picking up the single issue feeling. Now I have the Marvel Unlimited app, so I also read quite a few digital comics. Now I like reading older comics because in my mind I think I'm going to read every single comic ever, almost in order. I know that's not going to happen and it's going to take years, but I still like the older comics. So to start with, I read Fantastic Four issue 56 to 70. What I remember that had issues with Doctor Doom, there was a Sandman issue I think, lots of stuff with the Inhumans, and even I think there was an issue about the Silver Surfer too. I'll just probably flick up the comic covers I read as I'm talking, but they were quite good. I really enjoy Fantastic Four. At the moment, they're one of my top titles that I like to read. I also read Daredevil issue 27 to 34. They were also some really good issues. It had the Stilt-Man in some of them. Daredevil got unmasked. He fought Thor in some of them. In one of them, issue 30. So we had some really good villains, battles, cameos from other people. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I also completely forgot to mention that I also read the Fantastic Four Annual 5 from 1967, just to go with my Fantastic Four lot, because Fantastic Four are amazing. Very excited for that movie too. I also read Amazing Spider-Man issue 44 to 48. I love Spider-Man. He's my favourite superhero. I feel like that's a basic choice, but Spider-Man's great. How can you not love Spider-Man? And it had some iconic villains in it. It had Shocker, Kraven, the Vulture. Well, not really the Vulture, but, you know, the Vulture was in it, and then he got his costume stolen by some other guy, whose name I can't remember. Still, very great comics. I love Spider-Man. And the last of the Marvel superheroes that I read digitally was Thor, issue 129 to 133. Now, Thor's a bit hit or miss with me. I've got to be in the right mood to read a Thor comic, just because of the way he speaks. But it had Hercules in one of them, or a couple of them. I can't really remember. I read these at the beginning of August. And then he had a Living Planet in one of them, which was a very cool idea. Very well done. I did enjoy that issue. Well, it was a couple of issues. I did enjoy those issues. And then the last full comic book, that I read digitally was Alien Black, White and Blood. Now, I've been obsessed with the Alien movies recently. I haven't gone to the cinema to see the new one, but I finally watched the others. So I read the whole series, issue 1 to 4. I enjoyed it. I liked the look of the Black, White and Blood look. And the final comics that I read for this month was the Infinity Marvel Unlimited exclusive ones, which I quite like. I think they're a bit silly. They're not really too serious. Very good for casual reading, like when I'm a bit tired, don't really want to focus on it, I can just scroll. So I read Spider-Man 49 and 50, which I think that was the last issue of the Spider-Man Unlimited one, which was quite sad. I quite looked forward to that every week, because, you know, I love Spider-Man. And then I read quite a few Deadpool-related ones. I read Mousepool, issue 1, which is just like a mouse variant of Deadpool. Dogpool, issue 2 to 6, which was a dog variant of Deadpool. And then Dogpool Team Up, issue 1, which was just like a combination of the dog, the cat, and the mouse version of Deadpool. Quite fun. I enjoyed them. I also read the X-Men Unlimited. It's the new one, the From the Ashes, issue 9 to 12. They're quite good. I like the X-Men. It's different characters I haven't really read because I'm still getting in to a lot of X-Men comics. So like Omega Red, I think that's his name. I don't know anything about him, but to have a couple issues on him, I quite enjoyed them. And then the last comic I read that month was The House of Harkness, issue 1. Now I don't know how to feel about the artwork in it. It's giving very, like, done it yourself. It doesn't really fit comic book looks. It's like Wanda in a magical school. It's like a different, like a different universe. It's like a fan fiction. That's the vibe it was giving me so far. But I feel like I'll stick it out. I feel like I'll read it just because it's something different. Not too sure about the art style, but I'll give it its fair chance. I'm open to it. And that's every comic I read in August. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like. And next month, if I remember to keep track of all the comics I read, I'll do this again. Make sure you also check out my gaming channel, Games vs Amy, if you want to hear more of my voice. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.